Hi everyone, my name is Isabella and welcome to Nowadaze. I am so excited to be here with you all, and if you clicked on this, you're probably here for the drama and all the good stuff, and we're definitely going to get into it. But just to quickly introduce myself, once again, my name is Isabella. I am 25 years old and I love me a good podcast, okay? I love driving to a podcast, I love cleaning to a podcast. So I grew up when YouTube was starting. Kingsley, Jenna Marbles, Grace, I forget her last name, but I was around for all of it. So it's super exciting to try this out myself. And if you're here, thank you for being here. Let's go on this journey together. Okay guys, so today we're going to be reading 4 stories. There's not really a theme, just kind of overall hecticness. The first one is called, Am I the Asshole for Calling My Sister-in-Law a Mistress in Front of Everyone After She Said I Deserve Paternity? Ooh, okay. And then there is a tag that says English Second Language, so keep that in mind. My brother had an extramarital affair and he divorced my sister-in-law and got married to my current sister-in-law, the mistress. He basically ditched his wife and got married to this stupid woman, and our family is trying to accept her because of my brother. So that lets you know the author stands on the current sister-in-law. My sister-in-law on this Sunday asked my wife to prove that our daughter is actually mine. We are both Browns, all of us, and I am on the more fair side, but my daughter came out as completely brown. She said to my wife that it would be nice if she takes a paternity test to prove it to our family that the child is mine. She said that my daughter could have inherited me and had to be a little fair as in skin. So I'm guessing she's saying if that was really his daughter, she would have came out a little lighter. That's not how genetics work. Come on, let's get it together. My wife couldn't say anything because of a sudden shock, but I told her that my wife doesn't need to prove anything and she's not going to be proving herself. Good. I'm glad he stood up for her. And also, is anybody else questioning this, or is this literally just a sister-in-law? Because she's like, prove it to our family. Does the family care? Is the family in the room with us? Is chat? Like, what? Okay, this was tagged that this was their second language, so I'm going to try to reword what I think they're trying to say. English is technically my second language, guys, so I get it. She said it's the best that I find out about my heritage than after. So I think it's best if you find out now than later. I said that she's a mistress, so maybe experienced or inexperienced. So maybe she's had experience because she's a mistress. Damn, because that's what I was thinking. I'm like, not you okay, I know that's rude, but I was like, not her coming into this family as a mistress and she's trying to question somebody else's paternity. Homegirl, none of us cheated over here on this side. What are you? Okay. My mom pulled me aside and she asked me, why would I say that out loud in front of everyone? I said with my loud voice that a second-rate mistress is questioning my wife and she should not be having an affair with married men. Damn. Damn. Second-rate mistress, I know that felt to her. I left with my wife and my brother asked me and my wife to apologize to his wife. I said I will never apologize to anyone and I won't let my wife to do so even if she wanted to. So he's not gonna let her apologize, even if she wants to, because really they don't need to. And why would his wife apologize? Even if what he said was kind of out of line, why would his wife have to apologize for her husband's words? His wife literally just got insulted for no reason because their child is slightly a different complexion than the dad. All of that sounds crazy. He said he didn't want to stay with someone, his ex, because of arranged marriage. And I replied that I don't care. His wife is still a mistress and a stupid mistress to ask another woman for paternity test. Okay, so kind of maybe a fair point from the brother. He said the ex was an arranged marriage and then the mistress is who he really wanted to be with. I don't really want to touch that because that goes into cultural things that I don't have experience with, and I can't speak for somebody that is feeling like they're being forced into a marriage. If that were the case, that would honestly change my opinion on this quite a bit. Not because I think he should cheat, because I think there's still lots wrong with that. So, the last part of this story says, am I the a-hole? My family is broken. In fact, we broke off because of that witch mistress, but I will never apologize to her or my brother for her accusations towards my wife. So, there's a couple of things here. What the brother said at the end does kind of change a lot of things, but because we don't have his side of the story, I'm gonna go with OP's. There's a few things he said that does kind of credit the brother, like at the end, him saying the family's broken. I come from a Mexican family with a lot of traditions. This generation, we're creating a lot of change in those traditional patterns, and a lot of that comes with support and negativity, because typically when you're doing something that's breaking that pattern, like some of your family sees that you're just trying to break a cycle or break a tradition that's not necessarily needed anymore, and they're gonna be like, okay, well, I understand their point of view, they could have gone about it better, etc., etc. Breaking cycles comes with a lot of like uncomfortable situations, and then the rest of the family is gonna be wanting to stick to tradition. Again, that's my 2 cents on if that were the case. Taking the story for what it is, and this girl just being a mistress, but not just that. Okay, actually, let's put that aside. As a woman, why are you asking another woman for a paternity test just because of the color of their child's skin? Regardless of your backstory, regardless of what happened, cultural, whatever, no. Regardless of your culture, your background, do not ask me to test my child to make sure that this is their real father because they're a different color of skin. Like, what era are we in? Oh my goodness. The day I have a child, if I do have a child, and mostly if like the father is a different complexion than me, that child can come out so many different skin tones because I am a mix of Mexican, but I have my dad that's a darker complexion, and I have my mom that's a super light complexion. All of us really have different skin tones. If you were to compare me, my sister, and my dad and my mom, we all have different skin tones. If you were to compare my step siblings, we actually have more similar skin tones. So yeah, I'm gonna stick to he's not the a-hole, and I can't speak on like the background of their marriage, the whole like cheating, whatever. Don't ask a woman who's in a committed marriage to do a paternity test on your child because of the color of their skin. That is never going to be appropriate. No, ma'am. Let's read some of the comments. Not the a-hole. Glass houses and stones do not mix. Exactly. I think that's what we were all thinking originally. Because yeah, if I take it for face value, she's the mistress and she's asking somebody else to do a paternity test. Like, come on. You're just trying to steer the pot, or she's just trying to move drama onto somebody else's direction so that it's not on her anymore. Because she knows that she's like kind of the one that looks bad right now. So your mom and brother were okay with her questioning the paternity test of her grandchild, but not with you calling her out for cheating? F that and never apologize. And OP does respond to this comment and says, my mom wasn't okay with the mistress's accusations. She was just trying to do whatever she was for both of us. And I don't think my mom would actually question my daughter's legitimacy. And I think she's did for her other son and forgot about me for a bit. I think he was saying basically the mom's head was in protection mode over her other son at that moment, but she is not okay with the accusations, which good. Okay, there is one more comment I'm going to read because it's kind of a long response from OP. So it's in relation to that same comment I just read. And then OP responds that, and then someone says, the woman literally accused your wife of cheating in front of everybody. Otherwise, the kid wouldn't be yours, and now people are complaining of you saying your brother cheated on her. Nah, your mom took her side. It's not yours. And then there's a couple more comments. I'm going to get to OP's response. He says, my mom called me out for speaking of my brother and his wife's relationship in front of everyone. She said, why would I speak it in front of everyone? She was thinking of embarrassment towards our family. But my brother did something unspeakable. He cheated and had an affair just because his marriage was arranged, and he married to his mistress, question mark. Arranged marriage doesn't mean forced marriage. If he didn't want to marry my actual sister-in-law, then he should have said so instead of marrying her and having an affair and spitting on her by marrying his mistress. There you go. He cleared it up. So again, his family did not force him into a marriage. It was arranged. It was not forced, which is a thing in some cultures. It's kind of like they're like helping you, and it's like, hey, this is a recommendation, but you don't have to go through with it, and you can say no. And he went through with it and actually married a girl, from what I can understand. My marriage was arranged with my wife, and I would never think of cheating on my wife. And this mistress, someone who isn't even a part of my family, asked my wife to prove herself that my daughter is mine when she was having an affair. So that's a fair point. It was not a forced marriage. They had an affair. That's not right. There's better ways to do it. He was not forced into the marriage. So, from the information that we're getting, guys, I completely understand. I don't have the full story, but we can go off of what we have. Regardless, don't say that. And we'll see the reasoning behind her bringing up paternity was ridiculous. Okay. This next story is called I, female 26, got a message saying my husband, male 28, is cheating on me. The message was from his ex-girlfriend's best friend. It's concluded. So, this is a little longer. Okay. Original post was from Relationship Advice, and I am reading this on Best of Redditor Updates. There is a trigger warning, guys. Accusations of infidelity and stalking. If that is too much, please click off of the video. I do like when people timestamp, so I'll go ahead and do that in either the comments or the description, and you can move on to the third story. Okay. I, female 26, got a message saying my husband, male 28, is cheating on me. The message was from his ex-girlfriend's best friend. So, bit of a background, he and I have been together for 6 years. We have a pretty solid relationship, never get into arguments with each other. He's very open and will openly express how he's feeling or what he's thinking. Before we got together, husband lived across the country, about 4 states away. We met because of work and we hit it off right away. So kept in touch for the next year via text until he decided he wanted to be with me, so he transferred his job over to the city I live in. We've been together ever since and things have been dandy. I love when people use dandy still. A year before we dated, husband dated this chick, Charlene, for about 2 years until she left him. I knew about her but have never met her or even given her a thought until a few months into our relationship when my husband received a text from her. Charlene texted him to say she thinks I hacked into her social media profiles. Girl. He asked her why this was, and she didn't give much of a reason other than that she's been hacked. So I handed over my devices to husband to show I definitely did not hack any of her profiles. I don't even know how to do that. Okay, the fact that this is first contact is kind of scary, like first contact in a long time. This lady's already giving off slightly not fully there. And I'm gonna jump ahead because I do this during movies, so I'm gonna do this with you guys. What if she's just really crazy and she sent her best friend to send a message to this lady so that she would start thinking that her husband's cheating, but he's really not cheating, she's just crazy. But also, I would not be surprised if he was cheating because, you know. So he texted her saying, sorry, but it wasn't me. And he didn't know who it was, and that was that. Then a few days later, husband started getting weird texts and calls from people he didn't know, saying odd, vulgar things. We didn't know why till his friend told him Charlene posted a status with his phone number saying, this person has hacked into my profiles and is stalking me. Husband doesn't have her on social media, so he had no idea. What the hell? Girl, you're coming up out of nowhere and you're coming in very hot. And I'm about to pour some pretty cold water on you if you don't chill the F out. Like, and by cold water, I mean, just kidding, guys. But I would go off on her. Like, girl, what's wrong with you? Don't be weird in my comments or on my phone. Don't be weird in my phone. We don't like that over here. Nothing really came out of it. He managed to block the numbers, and thankfully their harassment didn't last. Flash forward to 5 years now. Wow. And we haven't heard from her or about Charlene at all. And promptly forget about it. Husband's sister just had a baby in the town husband was originally from slash where Charlene lives. And since he hasn't been there in like 6 years, we decided to go down and see his family. Hope you don't run into her, girl. We go down and everything is cool. He reaches out to some of his old pals to say hey, and we meet a few of them. Over the next few days, I get random friend requests from girls I don't know, who are from the same small town. It shows husband isn't a mutual friend with any of them, and I ask him who these girls are, and he says he doesn't really know. But one seems familiar, and he might have gone to school with one. I think it's weird and just delete the request. That is weird. I actually, the last time I traveled, which was just last weekend, to my hometown, I was having people view my story from like all over that didn't follow me. Everywhere that I traveled to kind of like often or like live in, like Arizona, Mexico City, and Salt Lake. I'm from Mexico City, so I go there to visit, and then I live in Arizona. And then I was visiting Salt Lake, which is where I grew up. That's a story for another day. And then ever since then, I've gotten followers from like Mexico and Salt Lake like crazy. And I'm like, what the hell? What the hell? I can relate to the weirdness. That was a really random side tangent, but I can relate to the weirdness of being like in this small town and getting like these random requests, and you're like, why? But also, I'm single and I'm like partying and stuff, so that still makes a little more sense. If you're freaking married and there to like visit your niece that was just born through your husband's family and you don't know anyone there, that's so weird. The next night, I get a message request on Instagram. It's from a different girl I don't know that lives in this town. She straight up tells me she knows my husband from childhood and he's been messaging her on Tinder. She sends me screenshots of my husband messaging her saying he's around and wants to hook up or something. I immediately show my husband, and right away he drops what he's doing and hands me his phone unlocked. Tells me that isn't him and wants me to go through his phone so I feel reassured. They seem like a solid couple. That's why I'm like not thinking he's cheating. I go through everything, messages, Instagram, social media, etc. I look at his apps, there's no Tinder. I go to his search bar and there's still no Tinder. He opens his app store to show me it's not downloaded. He downloaded Tinder and entered his phone into the login. Where I'm from, if you go to log in and type in your number, it just sends you a code to log in with, and it didn't have his number registered. Okay, this guy's checking out. And my original theory of this bitch being crazy, which I don't know if I can say yet, so BBC, is sounding more realistic. We look at the messages again, and he recognizes this girl as one of Charlene's best friends from college. Now, there's a few odd things with the Tinder screenshots this chick sends me. So it's bullet points. First one says, it says husband's account is verified with a little check mark. His profile picture on Tinder is a really old one from his brother's Facebook, like 3 or 4 years old. His brother is the only one still friends with Charlene on Facebook, and it's the only lone photo of husband on brother's profile. Girl. It's a photo husband actually hates because he's not smiling and has his tongue out, but his brother keeps it up anyways to bug him despite husband asking him to delete it before to no avail. Okay. The way husband talks in the Tinder screenshots is a bit different than how he usually texts in general. It's very expressive, and he usually doesn't type like that. So, chat, what do we think? I think the first one's weird that it's verified. With a little check mark, it says though. So maybe it's, oh, she's saying it was like screenshotted potentially on there. That would make sense. I think the ex is a little crazy, guys. I don't think he's cheating. But here's the one thing that's just weird that makes me feel uneasy. The message exchanges on Tinder are throughout the day gradually and not back and forth right away. It just happens that whenever husband replies, it was the only 2 minutes we weren't together during the day. Like this. Husband at 2:30 p.m. Hey, how are you? Remember me? Girl, yeah. Hey, what's up? Husband at 4:54. Not much, just visiting my sister. Smiley face. So at 2 p.m., I had ran to the grocery store and was texting my husband what I should grab for his sister's house. That's why I know the time. At 4-ish, we arrive at his sister's after helping with supper. Husband uses the bathroom. He's not in there long, but I sent him a text with the poop emoji to be silly. That was at 4:53. So this is how she knows the times. Ooh. So the fact that it's around the same times when I'm not around him is unnerving. Though the screenshots show They talk for longer after, but I can't see the times for the rest of the combos. And frankly, I don't want to message the girl and ask for more because it all seems sketchy. Anyways, husband has never really been on his phone this whole trip, so it's not like I see him sitting in the corner constantly texting. The people we met up from his school the other day are close friends with Charlene and girl who messaged me. So, they could have easily told them we were there and we were visiting his sister. It's a bit weird of a coincidence that this girl who's friends with Charlene happens to reach out to me while we are down for the first time in 6 years. We also just purchased a condo together 3 days before, so it doesn't make sense at all why husband would decide to cheat on me now. Not to mention, why would he decide to hook up with Charlene's friend while I'm with him on this trip? Why would he use that super old photo from Facebook that Charlene has access to? Plus, he surrendered his phone immediately and he showed me everything once I talked to him. The only thing that rattles my brain is the profile verification and the time messages were sent. Okay. That's the end of the first post. There's a little update right under it, but I think the timing is very weird. I also originally thought the verification was weird, but then I think we've decided that that could be photoshopped. So I don't think he's cheating. I'm getting vibes that this girl is just crazy. And I think the reason I'm sticking to it is because that was my original theory. I still would not be surprised if he was cheating, but it just doesn't seem like it. They seem like a strong couple. They seem to communicate well. They've been together for a long time. Hometown people are weird sometimes. Update. Messaged this girl saying, oh, that's weird because husband actually didn't have his phone on him the last few days since he dropped it. Her response was, oh, okay, welcome, So she basically messaged the girl saying like, oh, that's weird, he didn't even have his phone, just to see what she would respond, and her response was just like, weird. Okay, girl. Oh, okay, welcome. Like, the hell? Relevant comments. Ruthless Bunny said, have you ever thought your husband cheated? If not, he seems to be going out of his way to make you comfortable, which shows that he is honest. Ignore the whole situation. These girls are working overtime to mess with you. Keep an eye peeled when you get home, but I'll bet it's just a bunch of nothing. And then original poster says, Charlene cheated on him back then, and I know it's crushed him. Plus, he's gone out of his way to live with me 4 states away, not to mention plenty of other things. Definitely doesn't make sense that he would cheat. But of course, I don't want to be naive. No spouse wants to believe that they are being cheated on. And that's fair. I think just like me, she's being very realistic. Like, obviously, it could be a possibility, but it just does not align with how he is and what he's done to be with her. Because not every man will just move 4 states away to be with you the rest of his life. There's some Reddit stories out there, I promise you, where men have done that. Moved 4 states away, got in there, got distracted by another girl in that state, cheated with her, and ended up with another girl or single. There's a lot of ways that this could have gone, and he really committed to her. The Unicorn says, I think the ex is a psycho trying to ruin his life and your life. The verification is easy to fake. You just verify an account, then change the pictures to whoever you want to fake. There you go. There you go. Someone else is thinking what I'm thinking. Someone says, actually, you have to take live selfies to verify. And then the Unicorn says, yes, but after that, you can change your photos freely. You don't have to verify every time you change photos. Oh, okay. That's sneaky. Okay, update. So it's not too big of an update, but it's enough to definitely confirm my husband is totally innocent and bitches be crazy. I knew it, guys. I had a feeling from the start. So a few days have gone by and I was telling my sister-in-law about the whole thing and I showed her the messages from that crazy chick. Now, in my original post, I mentioned how I've been getting follow requests on Instagrams from girls I don't know and just proceeded to ignore them. This is true, but I realized I got a detail mixed up. The woman who messaged me to say husband was cheating had messaged me through Facebook, not Instagram. My bad. Okay. So anyways, I show sister-in-law the Facebook message from that girl and she asked who she is. Husband said he didn't recognize her name at all, but her face seems familiar, so he thinks it must be Charlene's bestie from college. He had only briefly met her once before they split. Sister-in-law mentions how strange it is that the name is so generic and how there's absolutely nothing on her Facebook profile. The name on the Facebook was something like Sarah Smith, the most generic name out there. We dig through this Sarah chick some more to see there are no friends, no cover photo, no statuses, birthday, nothing. It says the Facebook profile was created the day she messaged me. So definitely a fake account. And girly pop, I feel like you could have figured that out a little sooner. But, I mean, she's in her 20s, isn't she? Yes, girl, you're 26. Okay, I was going to say if she's older, I get it, but no. We think it's definitely Charlene behind that account. She specifically made it to reach out and message me. I just never thought to view the profile at all. This girl is so careless. So, like, on one side, I'm like, you could have figured it out. But on the other hand, I applaud her because I love being a careless queen. Like, that's my favorite thing to do. So, I get it. Someone in the Reddit comments before had mentioned to me maybe those girls on Instagram might be fake accounts made by Charlene or her friends. I thought there's no way she would go that far and just thought nothing of it. But maybe they were right because it was about an hour after I denied the Instagram follow that Sarah Smith messaged me on Facebook. So, bitches be crazy after all. I didn't think Charlene would ever take anything that far. Faking Tinder messages, okay, but also faking a Facebook profile, y'all were right. I was not the only one. Okay, I love that. I apologized to my husband for even feeling the slightest doubt for a second, and he said it was completely fine. He understands completely and doesn't blame me, and if I ever felt uncomfortable about anything, I'm free to ask for his phone or to talk to him. Seeing as in this amount of years we've been together, I've never had to go through his phone, I don't think I'll need to start now. Now it's a good story for us to laugh and jokes on Charlene because this just ended up making us closer than before. That's so funny. I love that. This was best case scenario. Husband definitely seems like a great guy. Their communication seems amazing. I'm super happy for them. I love that it's like a funny hee story. But just to get serious real quick, keep tabs on that girl. Just like slightly a little bit because she seems like like that. The trigger warning, stalking, like she's getting a little stalkery. And that's when you just have to know people and like maybe you block her so that she can't block you and unblock you just to view your stuff and then block you again. There's a lot of things people can do to like watch your stuff. So the best thing you can do is block them first. Make sure you are not allowing them into your life and that way they can't do sketchy stuff. I don't think this girl's gonna do anything else because it seems like she's too far to do anything else. She tried to do something weird years ago and then she waited until they were in town to do something weird again. Again, really weird on one side because years and years later she's still like doing really weird stuff to try to break this marriage up or to try to get this guy's attention. I don't know. And then on the other hand, seems like she's not gonna go out of her way to bug them if they're not within reach or within reason. So hopefully with them going back home, she leaves them alone and hopefully she finds a man. But like at the same time, do women like that or men like that, do creepers like this deserve a man? Because like they're weird. I don't know. Please find a distraction. Yeah, because I can't even give this girl any like, oh, well, poor her. Because no, that's weird. That's really weird to do. This is years and years later. You guys dated. You cheated on him. He moved on in like a reasonable way. And now this is years and years later and you're still like reeling them into this weird drama. Come on, girl. No. Comments, I'm not really going to get into because this was not the original poster and that was kind of long. But we get the gist, you know? It seems like the comments kind of picked up on the fact that this lady was crazy. And I'm glad we did too. We're starting on a strong note. Okay, next story. My 20 female boyfriend, 20 male, changed his relationship status on Facebook from in a relationship with no specific person to in a relationship with a girl that is not me. Oh my gosh. So trigger warning on this one is infidelity. And there's a mood spoiler discussed at the boyfriend. So I don't think this one's going to be innocent, unfortunately. The original post was from Reddit and it was reposted on Best of Redditor Updates. It starts, Michael and I have been dating since April 2010. We started dating when we were in 8th grade, so for just over 6 years now. Up to this point, we have had an amazing relationship. We are each other's best friend through and through. We've definitely had our ups and downs, but we've never officially broken up. He's never really given me a reason to distrust him until now. So this is sad. I have an opinion on relationships that start so young and go into adulthood. I think it's a lot of people's dream, and I don't want to shatter that. I think it's beautiful in a way. As somebody that did not live that life and has gone more of the route of finding my independence before I find my husband, I think it's so important to know yourself before you find your person. Do I think it can work out in these situations? Absolutely. I think we saw it work out a lot in past generations. Things are changing now, and it's a perk. It's a perk if you can get to know yourself before committing to somebody else. And that's a beautiful thing to experience. But no judgment to this girl. Sometimes you fall in love very young and you stay with that person. To stay together since 8th grade must be really tough. So, oh, my heart is already breaking for her. We go to different colleges. We are about 6 hours apart from each other for most of the year. Spring break of last year, freshman year, I went to his college to visit him. I met his friend Kayla, 20 female, who was very close to him, yet he had never mentioned her before. I'm not that jealous girlfriend that won't let her boyfriend be friends with other girls. But given her behavior, I thought that me not knowing about her was suspicious. She was very nice to me, but she was openly flirty with Michael, even in front of me. She was touchy with him, she made suggestive comments, etc. Michael always looked extremely uncomfortable, and he never flirted back, but he never told her to stop. Several days into my visit, I confronted him about this. I asked him if she knew I was his girlfriend. He said yes. I told him that her behavior was crossing the line and that he needed to set boundaries with her, starting with telling her to cut it out. He apologized and said he would. After that, Kayla stopped flirting with him in front of me, but the day I left to go home, she said one thing to me, and I remember her exact words. You know, there was no need to worry. Don't you trust him? That kept swimming around and around in my head for weeks on end. She said it so cattily, and it was coming from her of all people. I tried to shake it off and not think about it, but it was really hard. She said it in a way that sounded like, I know something you don't. Okay, so I'm trying to think how she said that. You know, there was no need to worry. Don't you trust him? Like, I think it was actually like that. Okay. Dang. Ooh, I would just be annoyed in general. And I would, even if you're comfortable with him having girlfriends, obviously that's normal. But certain girls are not going to be friends with my man if they are flirting in front of me. And just because they stop doing it in front of me, I'm going to assume that she's still doing it behind my back. Come on. I told Michael about it, and he said not to worry about it. She was always saying things like that. I kept pressing it, but he insisted that it was nothing more than just a jealous comment, so I dropped it. Time passed, Kayla added me on Facebook, and I accepted just to be friendly. This was when I started seeing a lot of posts about her and Michael that never came up on my feed before because Michael never posted about things they did together. They went to movies together. They went to games together. They went to concerts together. They went everywhere. In every post, Kayla added a caption that had a nickname for him in it. I could tell it was a special nickname because she used it in every picture. In the pictures, I saw that Michael always looked slightly uncomfortable. He always had a weak smile on his face. I know his uncomfortable facial expressions, and he was always wearing it in those posts. I felt somewhat paranoid, but I didn't say anything because I didn't want to come off as the jealous girlfriend who can't trust her boyfriend because he has a close female friend. I also didn't unfriend Kayla because if I did, I felt like drama would ensue. I would rather kind of like mentally torment this man instead of like do that. I mean, I'm not saying you have to yell at him or insult him or make this whole big fight about it, but should you question him about it? Yeah. And like, can you? Are you allowed to? Yes. That's not being a jealous girlfriend. Like, you're doing things that are dates with another girl all the time, apparently. Come on, don't let me find out like this. And I feel like her adding her was on purpose. Look at all of our photos together. She's really nice. That's all I have to say. About an hour and a half ago, I was scrolling through Facebook and I saw that Michael changed his relationship status. Before, it was in a relationship without any specific person mentioned. Mine is the same way. Now it said in a relationship with blank. That blank was Kayla. I felt like my heart dropped down into my stomach. The post was made 10 minutes before I saw it. There were already several comments on the post. I clicked to look at them. The first few comments were people saying, "Congratulations" and "about time." I don't know any of the people who made those comments. The second to last comment was Michael. "A joke, guys. A joke. Don't take Kayla seriously. Kayla, I hate you." The last comment was Kayla. "Ha ha ha. Aw, sweetheart, don't be in denial." Winky face. 10 people liked her comment. I stared at that post for what felt like an eternity. Then I checked my phone. I have several texts, all from my friends and one from my mom, my dad, my sister, all of them asking me why Michael changed his relationship status. I haven't answered any of them yet. Michael hasn't texted me. First of all, the fact that he hasn't texted her, what an a-hole. I don't care how uncomfortable or weird or awkward this guy seems. No, I don't care. No, he's not innocent. And he needs to take it down. He needs to change it to his actual girlfriend's name, actually. Oh my gosh. And then he's embarrassing her in front of everybody. And they need to be asking him. I don't even care if it's her family. They should be texting him and asking him, what is wrong with this man? Okay, she goes on to say, 2 things. Is he cheated on me, or is this just a joke, as he said? If he is cheating on me, what do I do? Edit, Michael is home for the summer, so I went over to his house. I knocked on the front door. Kayla opened the door, wearing a bathrobe. Oh my God. Oh. Kayla lives 4 hours away from us, a state over. I asked her what the hell she was doing there. She smirked and said Michael wasn't home. I told her she didn't answer my question. Her reply was, "I'm visiting for the week." I didn't have anything to say to that. I felt absolutely destroyed inside. I turned around without another word and started walking back to my car. She shouted after me, "Sorry things had to end this way." Fuck her. Who the fuck is she to say that to me? And yes, girl, I'm so glad she's upset. He was cheating on me. Oh my gosh. Now that I'm an adult now and I cannot physically fight people because there are real consequences, but the way it would take everything in me not to fight somebody, and then they've been together since 8th grade. What an a-hole. This guy sucks. More than anything, that guy sucks. He played the quiet card. He took advantage of his girlfriend's trust because this girl is also not speaking up for herself. Sometimes you have to communicate. Not every piece of communication is a confrontation. So just because you have to communicate with a friend or a family or a relationship partner about something that makes you uncomfortable or something that you didn't like, that doesn't automatically make it a confrontation. Sometimes it's being respectful to yourself to clarify something so that you're not going crazy in your brain or allowing someone to disrespect you. You don't deserve to hold on to that weight. Okay, sorry. This is getting me heated. Relevant comments. Laura says, "I applaud you for your self-control. The girl is hideously immature and he is downgrading severely. I would have beaten her and enjoyed it." OOP says, "Believe me, I wanted to rip her face off, but I could see her putting 'my boyfriend's crazy ex tried to kill me for no good reason, LOL, all over her Facebook or something." Yeah, because this man has been playing house with her, basically talking, dating, whatever, going through the whole stages to be together. So no one knows about his actual girlfriend and they're gonna paint her out to look crazy. Okay, final update. Posted the next day. Edit 2. Michael came to my house. When I opened the door, I found him crying his eyes out. I asked him what was going on, and this was all I heard until I closed the door on him. Guys. He slept with Kayla just before they left for winter break freshman year. She was indeed visiting him, and he didn't tell me because he didn't know how to. When I went to his house to talk to him, he was indeed home. He was very, 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 many, very sorry. I don't even know what to say to anyone in real life about this. My parents are at home, my sister isn't home, I haven't told any of my friends. Any advice now that it is true he cheated on me? Small edit. I texted him, it's over, so I've dumped him. Oh my gosh. I wish I could give this girl a hug. I wish I could just like bring her in and give her a big, 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 big hug. And this is why I think we need to put ourselves first and be selfish and not take dating seriously until we're older, get to know ourselves and learn about ourselves and commit to ourselves before we commit to anybody else, because this poor girl only knows him and she was 100% committed to this man while he was, I don't even know if I can say 50%. He left and started a life of his own, and she stayed behind and she stayed committed to him. Ugh, thankfully she sounds at least like a badass. She's angry about it. She's not just like falling back into his BS, because a lot of girls would have, been like, well, then you choose me or her in that moment. And she didn't even give him the option. She closed the door on him. She texted him that it was over. I'm not looking down on her for texting him. I would have texted him too. That man doesn't deserve anything more than that. I am furious at this man and this girl that he's been cheating with. She sounds absolutely awful. She gets a kick out of it. I'm sorry, but people like that are miserable. If you are happy off of somebody else's suffering, you are a miserable person. And that is only a reflection of you. And people know that. I hope you know that if you're like that. I am a very happy person. And when people are trying to like break me down for being the way I am, I know it's because they're miserable. Because I am happy internally to my core. As hard as life is, I know I love myself and I know I am loved. And so when people try to break me down for that, I know that's a reflection of them. And so this girl has a lot of maturing to do. Unfortunately, well, not even unfortunately, like she's gonna have to learn her lesson. He will probably end up cheating on her. That's just kind of how it ends up going in most of these cases. And she'll get her karma. It just sucks because it's going to feel like it's going to take a while, but she'll get her karma. And looking at the post again, this is from 2016. I am sure this girl moved on. This was reposted on Best of Redditor Updates. The original post is gone. The original account is gone. So I mean, most of us don't have our same accounts from 2016, mostly on like random things like Reddit. So I am hoping the absolute best for her. I am hoping that she moved on and lived a badass rock star life and basically like shitted on these hoes because yeah, no, he did her dirty. That girl is super wrong. It sounds like she definitely knew he had a girlfriend the whole time. So what they did was wrong and they're gonna get their karma for it. I'm sure they got their karma for it by now. Or maybe they're together in a miserable marriage, and sometimes that's the karma. Sometimes that's the karma, is letting your exes be with the person that they hurt you with and in miserable relationships. Yeah, I unfortunately don't have comments because the original post is gone, but I have a couple comments from this post. Everyone's just like kind of feeling bad for her, understanding that, they've been together for a long time, but nothing that really pops out. I'm gonna leave it there. Again, everything will be linked down below so you guys can read the comments. But yeah, that story, it unfortunately was the worst case scenario that it could have been. And I bet you she had the funnest time finding herself after that. I do want to take a moment, guys, because I said 4 stories at the beginning. I don't know if I'm going to keep that in there or not, but I am just going to do these 3. I'm going to keep the story that I was going to read for the 4th read today. That one is called My Partner Has Been Living an Entire Double Life, and I feel like I am living in a mystery documentary. So I'm excited. It sounds like a good one. I just have to go because my camera's gonna die, but I want to go back to that last story and just say one last thing because it kind of ties into me wanting to do a channel, like talking to you guys. There's a beauty in finding yourself. Whether, I don't want to put a title on it, whether you're a woman or a Maybe you have a serious relationship at one point, you get out of it and you're more independent, whatever, or you are like this girl that you start a very serious relationship from a very young age and then it kind of blows up at the end, or you've like never dated until you're older. There is beauty in finding yourself, and the fact that we can do that now is such an awesome thing. To this girl, if this is somebody that I'm talking to right now, I would say you have the gift and the opportunity to find yourself now after this horrible thing that happened, but you have the gift to find yourself now and figure out who you are on your own, just you, and figure out what you like. And once you're ready, date. Figure out what you like, because what you liked when you were in 8th grade is very different than what you're gonna like when you're an adult. And you get to know that part of yourself when you give yourself the chance to date as an adult. You get to know, oh, I actually like this personality now, or I like this style, or I look for these traits, and you learn from experiences and you say, oh, actually next time I'm going to pay more attention to this, and it helps you attract the right people. And I don't even just mean that in relationships, it helps you attract the right friendships. I have been single for a while, guys, 4 or 5 years now. Most of my my entire 20s essentially. And I've dated, I've had moments where I don't date, I've moved, I've done a lot of things, I've made completely new friends in a completely different state, and I wouldn't have been able to do a lot of things if I wasn't so independent and wasn't so like sure about knowing who I am. And I'm not even 100% there yet. I have so much to learn, but I've given myself so much time with myself that I can make decisions confidently and feel good about them. And even if I make mistakes, even if there's errors, even if like this, even if I get to 3 stories instead of 4, I'm still proud of myself for what I can do. So that all comes with having time with yourself. And you can do that even if you're in a relationship. I do believe that. So I think everyone out there should have that love for themselves and have that space for themselves. And again, commit to yourself before you commit to anybody else. I will leave you guys with that. The stories today were a great start. I'm actually super excited about them. In the comments, I want you guys to tell me what your favorite story was today, how you would have reacted. We'll be back